Good evening, everybody from CT, which is Connecticut. My name is Chris Jackson, and I'll be your host this evening. So, before we get started, I'd like to thank the Star Foundation for inviting me into the space again. And thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. And if you're catching this on the recording, thank you for tuning in. So, today's talk is going to be about a topic that I've been teaching people since 2016, but pretty much learned the foundation of it in elementary school. And that topic is energy. Now, in tonight's presentation, I'm going to teach you a framework that will show you how to, like, you can tap into higher levels of energy so that you can feel more like yourself and on your A game to handle challenges better. So next slide. So what does it mean to master your energy? Well, mastering your energy means having the ability to consciously shift your energy so that you can respond, not react to life's challenges. It's about having more control over how you think, how you feel, and how you act in any given moment. And when we feel more in control of a situation, we can think more clearly, we're more focused, we're more dialed in, and we just feel better overall. So, what I hope that you get out of our time together here tonight is knowing that no matter how heavy things can get, you do have the power to shift your energy on a dime whenever you choose to. It's just going to take some practice. Next slide. So, life-altering events affects people differently, but the common denominator all people go through when they're faced with one is that they never saw it coming. So now what? So imagine waking up to a life you never planned for, but mastering it like no one else could. This leads me to my first question for you guys, and feel free to come on and unmute or put it in the chat. But the question is, if this statement was true for you, what would you be able to experience more of? What would be different for you? Yep, just come right on or just kind of put it in the chat. Curious as what you would put. Let's see what we got. Travel. Yeah, that'd be nice. I like travel too.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes, yes. So it goes with this slide. So imagine waking up to a life you never planned for, but mastering it like no one else could. If this statement was true for you, what would you say? You're on mute, Diane. It's okay. It's all right.
Terrible
We got
at this. Okay.
There you go.
Yes, I'd say that's what happened many years ago. My daughter's 44, so
Yeah.
I'll try to text it in the box now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Great. All right. So next slide. So what is energy and what does it have to do with success? At its essence, energy is the invisible force that influences every thought you have, every emotion you feel, and every action you take. It's not just about the physical stamina, it's about the mental, emotional, and even spiritual fuel that shapes us and how we show up in the world. Next slide. Our thoughts are energy. Every thought we have carries a certain frequency. Fear-based thoughts produce like a low draining energy, while positive growth-oriented thoughts generate high powering energy. For example, if you believe that you're failing as a parent, that has a lower energetic charge than believing as if you're doing the very best that you can, and that's good for now. Next slide. Your emotions are energy. They're not random feelings. They are responses to the thoughts and the beliefs that fuel them. Emotions such as anger and frustration and sadness, they pull your energy down, while emotions like joy, gratitude lift them up. Note, there are no such thing as bad or good emotions. Emotions just are, and experiencing the full spectrum of them is what being a human is all about. Next. This leads us to our actions. Now, our actions are how we engage with the world, and they are a direct response to the core thought that triggered the emotional fuel that put the action into play. For example, event. Someone cut you off in traffic. We've all been there. So the thought, he could have killed me. The core emotion, anger, and the core action, you chase them down while honking your horn and yelling at them aggressively. I call this TEA, thought emotion acronym, thought emotion actions, the acronym of T. So when we go to the next slide, this brings us to what does this have to do with success? Everything, right? So here's another question I'm going to pose to you guys. I'm curious about what you'd say. If you were to define what success means to you, like your personal success definition, into one word, what would be the word that you would put for that? Let's see what you guys come up with. Your personal success definition in one word. Peace. Beautiful word. Two words. Calm and happy. I like it. Calm. Yes, definitely. Yep. Very good words. Yes. And then when we're more calm and when we're more happy and we have more peace, we can go to the next slide. It's safe to say that success is freedom, the freedom to feel more happy, the freedom to feel more calm, more at peace. You know, I love these one word definitions because it allows us, it's a quick reminder when we don't feel that way. Well, what do we need to be able to feel that way? And if we say, well, there's a place where I'm like lacking freedom, then there's a strategy that we can put around that. All right. So if we go to the next slide, I love the way this comes together. So if there's a definition of success, it's the freedom to choose, right? Because choice equals freedom. And I love this quote by Viktor Frankl, who's a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor. And it says, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances and to choose one's way. So the power of choice and the freedom to choose is where success can be generated from. In other words, success is that. Okay, so next slide. All right, so as a coach, at the heart of my coaching, this is what's representative of it. I help empower people's ability to choose point blank. And no matter what it is that they're looking to create for themselves, what I have found is the goal behind the goal can be found in the distinction in the highlighter yellow. A goal isn't a place to get to, it's a place to come from energetically, meaning what clients really want and what we all really want is the feeling of what obtaining the goal is going to give us. And on the next slide, you're going to see what I mean. Okay, so what you see on the screen is a framework that I've used in my practice called the 7 levels of energy leadership. And I've been integrating this into my coaching model for the last 9 years, and it's a game changer. Anytime I ask a client what they would love to achieve in our work together, no matter what the tangible outcome is, what they really want to experience are the emotions that you can see here in the higher levels: more flow, more ease, more joy, a deeper sense of purpose and connection to things, stuff like that. I mean, like when you see like the lower levels, like no one's going to wake up in the morning and say, man, I can't wait to be more anxious. Oof, I can't wait to be more fearful and more frustrated, right? But sometimes we find ourselves in these states anyway. And when we do, it's hard to see any other outcome. So let me break down this graphic for you. All right. So here you see the 7 labels from victim to creator. And each one of these levels has its own energetic charge. In the bottom levels, the energy is more constricting and tight and destructive, while the higher levels are more expansive. Each level is fueled by its own core thought, core emotion, and core action, all of which are nestled under its own container of beliefs. Self-defeating, limiting beliefs can be found in levels 1 and 2, while more empowering beliefs can be found in levels 4 through 7. And although it looks like the lower levels are like the danger zone, don't go there, we're going to be in them from time to time because that's the human experience, but we don't need to stay there. The goal is not to avoid the lower levels, but to recognize them, understand them, and learn how we can shift when needed. So, what does this all have to do with you in your role as a caregiver? So, if we go to the next slide, and we're going to start with level 7. At this level, we are both the participant and the observer in any situation. At level 7, we have complete objectivity and we operate in high degrees of trust and faith. We're able to fully experience the present moment without resistance. And when it comes to parenting, you see it not as a struggle, but as an unfolding experience free of judgment, stress, or fear. At this level, we can create our own reality and operate from a deep place of peace, knowing that everything is exactly as it should be. life just is. An example of this would be the story of Dick and Roy Hoyt. They're like a father and son duo who raced over 30 marathons in Ironman races, while Dick was pushing his son Rick, who had cerebral palsy, in a special speed day, a race day wheelchair. And that literally, like the doctors looking at it as a marvel, it extended both of their lives. And that's what it is like to be in this level 7 energy. So the next slide, this is the visionary energy, level 6. This is where when we are able to trust life's journey and our roles in it because we can see the bigger picture. Challenges, they don't feel like obstacles. They feel like meaningful moments that shape us. We feel connected to something greater than ourselves and experience a deep sense of purpose and flow. There's a sort of sense of interconnectedness, and we see ourselves as one of many spokes on a wheel. An example of level 6 energy is how the Star Foundation was born. When Jessica, finally got her son Ben's diagnosis, she just didn't stop there. She partnered with others to form this foundation so that she can help other families that are faced with the same challenges not feel alone and isolated. And that was the motivation for this vision, to create a hub of support and a global community. Next slide. So what you see here, level 6 and 7, they are in a zone, they're in the zone of being, where our soul power and our spirit are activated. Like level 7, it contains the essence of our individuality, the sum of our thoughts, our emotions, our memories, our personal identity, all of that, all of which that carries our personal journey and our character. You want to think of like the soul as the ocean floor or the basin of a lake or a river that holds the water and the life in it. Whereas level 6, that's actually like the bodies of waters themselves full of the ecosystem. And you can see that there's a gap, right, between the state of being and in the lower levels. But even if our spirit is restless and there is pain in our soul, the fact is that these levels exist for us to tap into whether or not we are currently using its energy. That within itself can provide some comfort. Next slide. All right, so now we're going to go to levels 5, 4, and 3. So at level 5, the opportunist, we are able to turn struggles into solutions and caregiving into a more sustainable experience. Keyword, sustainable experience. Instead of feeling trapped by challenges, you see the possibilities everywhere. You seek collaboration, you look for win-win outcomes, and create new ways to support both you and your child, the win-win. At level 5, wins only work out if both parties feel as if the other one is winning. That's why collaboration and opportunities are the most prevalent at this level. Next, we're going to go on to level 4. Level 4, the caregiver. All right. When you're in level 4, you are just able to give to others with so much love, compassion, and purpose. It is at this level that we feel deeply committed to our roles and find fulfillment in supporting your child's roles and everything else. And we show up in this level with kindness, with patience, with generosity, and we're ensuring that those around us feel cared for while also respecting our own limits. At a true level 4, we can give our time, money, and resources freely without feeling an energetic hit. We have what we need. We don't look to give. We look for others to win, and we feel good while doing it. At level 3, next slide, thank you. At level 3, now 3, it acts like a pressure valve, and it's the gatekeeper to whether or not we move up or down in the framework. At level 3, we're able to release and cope and tolerate life circumstances, which allows you to manage caregiving effectively while staying organized and keeping things under control despite feeling drained. It enables you to be able to navigate caregiving with practicality and structure, and it allows you to maintain control and keep things running despite feeling drained. While you may not feel deeply fulfilled at level 3, the comfort is found in the routines and being okay with good enough for now. So when we look at this on the next slide, you can see like building boundaries at level 3 is very important. Why? So that we don't dip down into the lower levels. So when we have these boundaries, we're able to fill our cup at level 4. And when we fill our cup at level 4, we can access more opportunities and solutions at level 5. These are the doing states, right? 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 is all about the doing, all about the work. While level 6 and 7 are the being states, right? Maybe be able to tell a difference right there. We make decisions in 3, 4, and 5 from our head and our heart. And from 6 and 7, we make decisions based off of trust, off of faith, and off of intuition. So a good place to operate from is a full cup level 4 as a baseline, since it allows access to the 2 other zones. And this is why self-care is critical. It helps strengthen our level 4 mindset. But what happens when the stress gets too intense? Let's see the other page. Next slide, please. We dip into our instinctual minds and either in fight, flight, or freeze. And when that happens, it zaps our power from the higher levels, dimming our light. So at level 2, the fighter, you feel like you're in a constant battle, but you're still willing to go there because you want to stand up for your child's needs or for yourself with passion and determination. And even though you're able to push through resistance and fight for what's right, ensuring that your child gets the support that they deserve, it can really be taxing. So, and when that happens and the fight goes on for too long, then we're in danger of dipping into level 1, where we feel overwhelmed and we feel isolated and we feel powerless. And this is where we can feel kind of stuck and exhausted and emotionally drained. But no matter what you do, it just seems like things don't change in this level 1 state. But although while this still feels this like level will feel heavy, it's also going to signal to you that you need support. Someone in level 4 ready to give without needing anything in return for you, right? And creating small, manageable steps to regain your strength. So doing the work to do something small, to step out of it while leaning on your support is all going to help you be able to get out of level 1. So if we go to the next slide. Now, a pattern that I've noticed in a lot of caregivers, they get stuck in this cycle of going from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, which I call the 4, 3, 2, 1 loop. And it goes something like this. You pour your energy into caring for your child, advocating for them, and ensuring they get what they need. You say, I can handle this, and take on more responsibilities, often without asking for help. That's the service and compassion in us. Then, when we can't hold on to just purely the level 4, we dip down into level 3, managing and feeling drained. You start feeling exhausted, but you keep pushing through because what else are you going to do, right? Self-care takes a backseat, and you tell yourself, I don't have time for me. You stay in survival mode, managing everything, but emotionally feel drained. When you can't hold on to just doing what you need to do to get things to go by and keep it moving, then we start dipping down into our instinctual levels. Level 2, you start feeling underappreciated and resentful because no one seems to help as much as you do. You might lash out, feeling like no one understands how hard this is. You feel like you have to fight for everything, from medical care to school support. And then when that goes on for far too long, your body's just going to say, time out. We need a break. It's just going to power down for you. And that's where the burnout comes into play. Exhaustion turns into hopelessness. You start to shut down emotionally, you withdraw, avoid conversations and responsibilities because it just all feels too much. And you may even think, what's the point? Because being in this cycle just feels like it's going to be never ending. So this is something that we want to be able to break. And then for the rest of the presentation, I want to teach you how to break that loop. Okay, so go to the next slide. So breaking the loop, all right? Now, like I said before, the best place that we want to be is at that default baseline of level 4, right? When we're there, like I said before, it's nestled in between the 2 different zones, the instinct zone and where our spirit or soul are nestled. We can spend a lot of time in the doings of life, shifting closer to level 5 and then into level 6 and 7 when we can, into the beings of life. That's where we can create a lot of balance. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can break this loop. All right, so this is where we're going to look at our workbooks, all right? So you can break out your workbooks on the phone. Now, do you guys have that? I think it's the link is going to be in the chat.
Do you want me to share it up on the screen too, Chris?
You can share on the screen too, yeah. There you go. Let's see, put it in there. I'm gonna bring it up on my phone. All right, so we have it in 2 places. Perfect. Okay, let's just flip to the second page. There you go. All right, great. All right, so that loop doesn't sound exciting, doesn't sound like fun, right? So if you ever find yourself in that loop, the very first step that you want to do is identify the level that you're operating in. So what I have on pages 2 to 7, it's going to show you level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay, so like I said, the very first step, if you're just feeling anxious or you're feeling worrisome or you're feeling angry, frustrated, or you feel like you're just going through the motions, you want to know exactly what level that's in so you can do something about it. All right. So, for example, if you go to page 2 right there. So, yep. Nope. Sorry. Go back.
Oh, okay. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay. No, we're already on page 2. Sorry. The kind of the front page is page 1. So right there, we're in the energetic check sheet, right? So you're feeling a certain type of way. So that is like your energy levels are, in play, which they always are in play. So right here, for example, the first step you want to do is go to the warning sign. Like you think about it as a check engine light on the dashboard of your car. And then you go through the mental signs, the emotional signs, the behavioral and the physical. Then you just start looking at it and start checking things off, checking things off, checking things off. You can do that for level 1. Now, if we flip to the next page, you can do that for, yep, go ahead, for level 2. And then you flip to the next page for level 3. All right. Now, what you're going to do is you go through those parts, pages 2 to 7, and you'll see where you have the most checks. So usually where you have the most checks, that is the predominant energy that you have at that given moment. Okay. So if you go back to page 2, yep, one more. Yep. So just to get like a prompt in your thinking, right? Now, like how you feel and you're going through these warning signs, but you want to also cross-reference them with the core beliefs and the thoughts that you might be saying to yourself in your head or even out loud when you're venting. So here, I'm not strong enough to handle this, or I'm not strong enough to handle this anymore, or I'm failing as a parent. You might be thinking certain things about others, like no one's ever going to understand what I'm going through. About life. Life is too hard. Things are never going to get better. I feel stuck. Nothing makes a difference. And about the future, you see what it says there. And each one of these levels on these energetic check-in sheets, the warnings for level 1, 2, and 3, they all have a section where it talks about these core beliefs and these thoughts. So you get a good sense where you are when you work through this workbook. Now, that will be step 1, right? Step 1 is like, okay, what level am I in? So then you want to go to step 2. So step 2 can be found in the quick energetic reset. So if you go there, yep, one more page. Ooh, and one more page. There we go. So the quick energetic reset is something to regulate your body and your mind, just to settle you in your body. Because when we get to worrying, right, it's all about we can't control the outcome in the future, something that we probably don't have any control over anyway. When we're frustrated, all that stuff is getting us outside of our body and totally cutting us off from our true essence of what I showed you in level 5, 6, and 7. So what you can do is refer to this page right here. And then once you identify the level that you're in, what usually tends to happen is if you're in level 2, that 1-minute reset would be really good for you, because that's where the anger and frustration and feeling tense comes in. But you're not going to make your best decisions there. Although it's more energy than level 1, where you feel apathetic, where you feel like, defeated. It gives you more energy to be in the fight. But being in a fight is like being in a sprint. You can't sprint a marathon, right? So going to this quick 1-minute energetic reset is really helpful. So for example, you got the bullet points. Take 3 belly breaths, and it shows you how to do the box breathing. I don't know if any of you guys meditate, but it's good stuff right there. It shows you how to also, accompany that with shaking the tension out of your body for 10 seconds. So after you self-regulate, you shake that tension out, drink a glass of water. It's a nice reset. But the full prescription and the full RX, you want to do the 1-minute reset and pair it with the prompts for the level 2 on the energetic check-in sheet. So you see how those two go hand in hand with each other? Now, level 5, probably if you're in a level 1 experience, you want a little bit more time because you got to get a little bit more activation. So you want to spend more than just 1 minute in it. And then level 10, that's when you're in level 3, because level 3 is all about, tolerating your experience. Logically, you're getting through the day because it makes sense to do XYZ because no one else is going to do it. So you might as well do it yourself. Now that feels different than at level 2 where you're like, no one's going to help me. It's like, no, it makes sense that I handle this right now because it's just quicker for me to do it. Right. So that can leave you drained, right? Level 3 is all about managing life and you feeling drained at the same time. So this whole 10-minute reset will just feel so comforting. This is the self-care that I'm talking about to get you to baseline level 4. That's why it makes sense that level 3 and level 4 are right next to each other. Okay. So to get us into the doorway of level 4, we need to take care of ourselves with these quick energetic resets. Now, that is for short-term relief. Now, to stay at a healthy level 4, you want to create yourself a shutdown routine. Now, I urge you to do the shutdown routine every night as much as you can, day in and day out. Have it stack it with the quiet time that you have in your evening. Now, a shutdown routine is very important because it gets your brain and your body into a state where it realizes, like a transition time where the fighting is over, the advocacy is over, the section of the day that takes your most energy is done. It's time to shift into taking care of yourself, just powering down, right? I know other things can help that faster, like watching TV, eating sugar, drinking wine, having a nightcap, online shopping, maybe late at night, right? All those can feel awesome. But it's not like the healthiest thing, right? So this is a way that you can do it. So if you can just zoom in just a little bit there for me, Agnes, please. Thank you very much. All right, so there's 3 types of shutdowns. You got the mind dump and release, you got the sensory reset, and you got the boundary reset ritual, right? Now, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but you can see that each one of them has a different task associated with it, okay? So when we scroll down and you see how those things work, the examples of this would be like, after an intense day of advocating for your child's needs, write down 3 things you did well and 1 thing to handle tomorrow and let it go for the night. So you can feel like I did enough. It's time to power down. Tomorrow is a new day. The sensory reset, you have a really emotionally charged day, right? Or emotionally charged meeting. You need to quiet the monkey mind. Water is really good for this. Like jumping in the pool, jumping in the shower, jumping in the bath. Doing like a float. I don't know if you guys ever been on a float before where it's like all dark and you're just floating on the water. It's pretty cool. But anyway, it's all about the sensory experience. And you just want to envision the stress just washing away, kind of like with the water. And the boundary setting ritual is after a very long day of advocacy, right? You take your advocacy hat off, right? Either literally or figuratively, and you step into a different role, right? Literally, it's like, what does a new role look like outside of by advocating? And if you flip the page, you can start customizing your very own shutdown routine. Yeah, you got to go out to do that. Yeah. And you customize your own shutdown routine. Oh,
Sorry
yep,
about that.
that's okay. There you go. And there's 3 steps of doing it. You identify your current shutdown struggles, right? So this can help navigate how to get this done. Like my mind races with tasks and worries, it keeps me up at night. I feel like I should always be doing something productive. Like that's literally me for sure. I scroll on my phone, but don't feel rested. I struggle to let go of the day's stress and any other thing that you can think of. You will put it down there. Okay. Then you want to choose your shutdown type. So, for mental clarity and overthinking, maybe the mind dump or release is what you want to do. For emotionally overwhelming and stressful day, you feel tense in your neck or your shoulders. I feel my stress in my neck, actually. Some people feel it in their shoulders and their chest, even in their hips, low back. Then you want to get yourself a sensory reset. Now, when it comes to the boundary reset, that is from literally learning on how to create more work-life balance. Okay. The boundary reset is pretty good when you're in like a 3-4 default state and you can think clearer and you don't need that quick energetic hit. But again, this is for the long-term recovery, learning on how to perform and then recover instead of perform and crash. That's a big distinction. All right. Then in step 3, personalize it. My shutdown time will be at blank, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whenever it may be. The first step of my routine will be, and get really clear with that and commit to it. To calm my mind, I will. To relax my body, I will. To set boundaries, I will. My closure phrase for the day will be, and you just think of something that allows your mind to understand that it's time to shut down. Like, words do not return void. They are very powerful. So if you can come up with a phrase that really feels good for you and you say it day in and day out, your mind is going to get on that train. It's going to create new neural pathways to what you're looking to do, despite the chaos that you might be feeling in your life. All right. So that is how to, shift out of 1, 2, and 3, just by doing like some somatic experiences and going through the workbook. But on those pages 2 to 6, there's also some other prompts that you can follow in conjunction with the energetic reset and the shutdown routine. Now, for the remaining of the pages, once you get yourself kind of like settled in, you want to learn on how to really solidify that level 4 mindset and lock it in more often than not, so that you can shift into more opportunities, more solutions at level 5, and tap on the door of that being state where each one of you said more happiness, more peace, right? Which comes to like more balance. Got to figure out how to do it. So, for the rest of the workbook, it's really simple and straightforward. What you would do is follow the prompts, right? So you start from the top, learn how to set boundaries, learn how to prioritize self-care, check in with your motivations. At level 4, we love to help, we love to serve, but sometimes it might be, serving because we feel obligated, right? And when we feel obligated, it's not a true level 4 experience. Now, remember, level 4, the core thought is concern, the core emotion is compassion, and the core action is service. If we are serving and we're looking for like a thank you, or if we're serving because we feel like we have to do it, it's not going to feel great. So that's a telltale sign that we're not in true level 4. We might be managing and pushing through and still serving, but it's not 4 anymore. It's not that experience. It's now a level 3. Again, managing and draining. That's what level 3 kind of like feels like. Okay. So for the first pillar, we want to identify where we're overgiving. Where do I give my most time and my most energy? Where do I feel drained? Here's a big one: underappreciated and overwhelmed. 3 different things. And do I ever feel guilty for resting and setting boundaries? If so, when? It's key to find the times when you do it, because that's where you'll find some of the answers. And then pillar 2, again, we want to check our motivations for helping, right? So you want to go ahead and choose the statement that best describes your current mindset. All right. And then it's hard for me to see. It's got to slow down. And on the next page, you'll see those motivations. There you go. I help because I truly want to. Okay, great. That's a healthy level 4. I feel like I have to help or everything will fall apart. That can be overwhelming and overgiving, right? I help others, but I secretly feel resentful or underappreciated. That's a big energy drain. I don't know how to say no, even when I'm exhausted. So that's a clear lack of boundaries, right? So you can see how going through pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, while doing a shutdown routine would be very helpful for learning on how to create more balance in your life ongoing. All right. Go to the next page. It shows you how to shift from overgiving to empowering others. That's like the power of delegation. You know what I mean? So at level 4, if you're doing the giving, at level 5, instead of overgiving, you learn how to delegate so your cup doesn't get drained. Remember that picture, that graphic on the slide where it showed kind of like the full cup at level 4, and I said pour from here? Well, if you're overgiving, you're not going to be pouring from a full cup. You're going to be on that level 3, teetering to maybe 2 and 1. So if you're able to delegate tasks, it's super helpful, right? Learning how to teach others and trust that they'll be able to get the job done. Now, I know there might be times in your life where people have let you down. They couldn't do it as well as you because you're focused on getting it done correctly. And that's a beautiful thing. And it needs to be that way, right? But if there's another way to be able to empower some help, I mean, that would really be beneficial for you. And you'll be able to get the same stuff done and feeling a lot better. Okay. So on the next page, it's really strengthening that level 5 mindset. So when you're learn to be able to pour from that full cup at level 4, now it's time to really have some fun and play because you can really ascend to the higher levels, right? So so where are we at right now? Can you go to the next page for me? Oh, this is good. This is good. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So again, I like writing things up. So step 1, identify a current challenge to reframe, right? You're presented with a challenge. You're at level 4. You feel good, but you feel like you're going to get worn out, but you're like, nope, not today. That's not going to happen to me. What's the challenge that you're facing? So then you'll think of a situation where you're feeling a little bit stuck, frustrated, and unsure what to do. And you want to get really clear on what it is. Then you want to think through how you're currently thinking about the challenge. Is your mindset focused on the problem or possible solutions? We always want to be in that solution focused thinking, solution forward. All right. And the reminder right there for you is the way that you frame a challenge, it determines how you experience it. And at level 5, remember, every obstacle is a chance to grow and learn. Right. So it's all about the reframe. Step 2, you shift your perspective to what's the opportunity here. That's why the level 5 is called the opportunist. So instead of seeing anything that's going on in your life that might feel as if it's a setback, you want to explore what you can gain from the experience. Level 5 is all about the spirit of curiosity. When you're curious about a thing, you don't judge a thing. You're just open to understanding it. You know what I mean? So, when you're in that state, you go through the prompts. What is one lesson I can take from this challenge? And that's great. Like, what is one lesson? If I was giving a lesson on how to solve this challenge as a keynote speaker, what would be my talking points? What would be the moral of the story? What would be the lesson? And how can this situation actually be helping me grow? It's really important, right? So again, going through the prompts, learning how to shift from level to level, doing these somatic exercises, identifying the warning signs, the check engine lights that come on, so you can literally get granular with the level that you're in, and going through this workbook from front to back and just making it like a habit, even if it's just a little bit each day. This is like a support system within your support system to be able to help you. And for me, I am only an email away. You can always get in touch with me. I can answer any questions that you might have. My email will be shared in the chat later. And this is just an example of that level 6 energy, right? So I got brought here as a guest speaker through Jessica. Jessica turned a messy situation into a message and provided an opportunity to have a team that can help support everybody that are going through these things. And I'm pretty sure everybody that works within the Star Foundation comes from a strong level 4, that caregiving, compassion, and concern, and just wants to serve others. And when that all converges in one area, it's kind of like a vision of just helping and nurturing people that are going through these challenging times, and having a stake in the ground saying, I will not let you fail. You are here. We see you, we hear you, and we want to nurture you. And I think that's the beauty of the human experience. The humans are remarkable. Agnes was talking about that before we went live, on how amazing humans are. And we can really band together when some tough times happen. And on the other side of that pain is immense joy. In fact, you can't experience joy without pain. It's on the two sides of a coin. A lot different than happiness. Happiness is like a fleeting feeling, like a chocolate chip cookie. Like, I love warm chocolate chip cookies out the oven. So happy. But it's fleeting, right? Joy is a state of being. It's permanent. And that doesn't mean that we're without pain, but it means we can tap into that joy anytime we want to when we're in the higher energetic states.